Yes. This is my little home away from home. This is where we do everything. This is the shed. This is the little man cave. This is where we get projects done. And I do truly love this space. It's become such a great place for me and my mates to hang out. I've gotten so many different projects done here and it's just worked. And the space has kept evolving as I've been working on here. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to evolve it even further. Now, I've already done some projects. I've already completed some tasks that I wanted to do. We've got air now hooked up throughout the shed. I've got retractable air lines. They can get to compressed air anywhere we need it. I've also gotten fresh water in the shed now. We used to have bore water, which worked fine, except our bore water here is incredibly salty. So this left a lot of salt residue on anything. It clogged up nozzles and hoses and stuff like that. And washing your hands was just about pointless because you'd get the dirt and grime off and cover them in salt, and then between the detergent and the salt, your fingers would all dry out and you'd leave here looking like a prune. On top of that, we've also done some wiring in here. Now, my mate, I'm not qualified to do any wiring and I don't ever try to be. 12 volts enough wiring for me to deal with. Even that I've started enough fires with, so we're not going to do anything with 240 volt. But we've gotten some wiring done in this shed. There's a couple of things I need to button up, a couple of things I need to finish with that, so my mate can come back and finish off the wiring in earnest. A big area that we've done that in is the mezzanine. This has all been redone. I'll show you through it, we'll walk you through it. Now this mezzanine up here, it's been here for ages. I didn't put it up there. Quite frankly, I wouldn't trust if I did put it up there because it would have fallen down by now. But it's still up there, and it's been up there for decades, so we know it works well enough. And that mezzanine, for the longest time, for as long as I've been in this shed, has been an absolute mess. And it's one of those things that, like, I had storage underneath it. I didn't really ever bother about cleaning it because it's just like, I've never needed the space. I had storage down here and it was gonna be a massive faff to clean, which it was. There was a lot of heavy stuff up there, a lot of heavy stuff that I needed to put up there, and there was a lot of heavy stuff I needed to take down from there. And thankfully, we've done it, and I'm so glad I did. It is staggering how much it frees up this space for projects like the VK Commodore. This area now is going to be the long-term project. We're going to push stuff over here, and this is just, we're going to pick away at it as we've got time. And I've got to say, this evolution so far of this stage in the shed's life is my favorite. It's coming up a treat. But as you can see, we've done some additions. So we've got lights in there now, and they look, oh my God, they look fantastic. Even with them not in the ceiling properly, which we're going to add a ceiling in here. This is going to be one of the things we do. They just light up the world. It is fantastic. There's so much light down here. And it's one of these things I reckon I'm going to constantly add to this shed is the lighting, because although it's good now, I think it's only going to get better and better. Now, there are two things I really want to address to begin with. They're sort of, actually no, they're not both sort of beautifying. One's more comfort and this one is beautifying. So this wall, we spend a lot of time at this wall. This is the wall where we spend all the time. We've got the workbench, we've got the vise, we've got all the table space and everything here. This is where we spend a lot of our time, and it's horrendous. It looks ugly, and it's also not very versatile, which is what the wiring is doing right here, which we're going to address later on. But first, we need to prettify or beautify or make this area look a bit nicer. Now, we've already got the John Goss bonnet. That's the original John Goss bonnet up there, the one we didn't want to cut a big hole in for the hood scoop. But what we're going to do here is sort of make this the wall of all memories, but most of the memories are mistakes. So little things, stuff that we've done, stuff that we've made mistakes on, we're all going to plaster on this wall just because I think it's funny, I think it's interesting, and it's a story, and I love the idea of it being there and being able to look at it and sort of seeing the journey of where we've come from and what we're doing and everything like that. And in order to hang everything up there, we're going to plaster it in some big nice panels of wood, which we've got from an old table that I built. And it's not that old, quite frankly, but it's a table that we built. It served its purpose. I'm building a better table for the space. So this table we're going to dismantle, put the wood up there. Hopefully it turns out all right. If it doesn't work because I've glued the table together too well, then we might have issues, but that's all right. We'll figure something out. So we're going to work on that space, and then we're going to do the modification that is so unnecessary, but I cannot wait for. And quite frankly, it is going to be practically pointless until we insulate this shed. This here is a stainless steel drum, and it's sitting on a stand that I've had for ages. We're going to build a fireplace for this shed to heat it, which was going to be tremendous. Now, as I said, this shed's not insulated, so this isn't going to serve much of a purpose, but it's just sort of like a nice comfort and an in-between, and just sort of, it's going to help a little bit. And when we do eventually go down the line of putting that silver insulation all over the shed, we'll have a nice heated fire for it as well. All right, first of business. I think we dismantle this table. Oh, we're going to throw your ball. You've been sitting here waiting like such a good girl. We'll dismantle this table and then probably do the cladding behind the workbench, behind this as well. And then we can probably move on to the fireplace itself. I like the plan. Let's get to it. A smattering of words, plans and schemes there, but I'm not afraid to dream and push myself into completing work I have no place doing, which will ultimately result in me reconsidering, dismantling and reconstructing the same thing over and over and over again. Oh, it's better than I could even expected. Sick. All right, now the other side. And this process was ever so prevalent when I clad this wall. The original plan of taking these wooden countertop slabs from this table became quite the mission. Between the glue, my poor sanding when assembling this table, and how much they had warped, getting these slabs flat and square became quite the endeavour. But once we had the panels prepped, we could figure out how we could secure them to the wall. Oh, Jesus. Which is where we needed to make a couple of decisions on a few problems I encountered. First of which, we don't have enough wood to clad the wall. Secondly, the shed, much like all buildings, isn't square. And thirdly, I'm dreadful at drilling consistently in a line, even if I marked it out, and I can't cut straight for the life of me. I hate to admit this, but this plan of mine isn't working. Which is a bugger. And it's sort of snowballed, hasn't it? Long short of it, it's not working. It's not going up here. I'm having too many big gaps. Stuff's not filling in properly. It's not working. I think we're gonna have to shift. I think we have to change the plan, which is a real bugger. This looks, though, in premise, I do really, really like it. So I'm thinking, scrap this, pull down this one and that other one that's on the inside. And redo it. That sucks, but it's the right thing to do. All right, let's dismantle. Sucks on doing stuff that you've done, even if it's absolute garbage. I still find this one of the hardest things to do, to admit defeat, backtrack and try again. And it's especially annoying when I have to do it from a mistake that I've made far too many times, which is rushing. But now with everything disassembled, we can try again. Very nice. The only drama is now, I've got no way to hold it in place. As you can see, we've changed the plan yet again. But I think this one by far looks the best.
Street where the laughter flows, we found our heaven at the front. Joe flipping ribs under a smoky sky. Oh, French roll.
I do love Fords. I don't know if I love Fords this much. Not sure if that banner's going to stay or not. We'll see how I feel about it. Overall though, I think it looks really cool and I'm really glad how it turned out. Had I had my time again though, I definitely would have framed the wall out properly. It was one of those things where I just like, after I'd finished it and I stepped back, I looked at it and I was like, that was unnecessarily complicated and difficult. We should have just framed it. We should have just framed, and I have no idea why I didn't. It was just one of those things I just didn't think about. I just was like, oh, it's a shed. You don't frame a shed. You, I don't know, do something dodgy, but anyway, we're here now. Everything's lined up. Everything looks really good. And I love it. I think it looks fantastic. And I'm glad we went with the chipboard, not the plywood. I think it really sells it properly good. And we've already started using it. I've already started putting some of my blunders up there. So on the top left over here, we've got my first ever time 3D printing. It went horribly wrong. Nothing was to scale and it came out as a complete and utter mess, but that was fine. We got that sorted in the end. And then on the top right, we've got the 300cc's hub, which blew up. And then we've got the Honda 250cc's Odysseys, the clutch that blew up. Below that, we've got the Lancer's headlight. Now, I bought a Mitsubishi Lancer. I think it's a CJ. It was the last generation of Mitsubishi Lancers. And I bought it at a salvage auction as a repairable write-off. And the plan was to rebuild it and sell it and try and make a bit of money off of it, try to make a profit. I didn't know much about anything there. And it had a crash on the rear end. And that tail light was damaged and that's where we got it from. But long story short, I didn't make any money. I ended up losing, I think it was like $4 or something ridiculous. Anyway, that was years ago now. We don't talk about it. And in the middle, at the top here below the Ford logo, we've got the LTD's Valley gasket manifold. So me and my mate, we were trying to get this LTT going for ages. And we finally did, and it sounded terrible, and that's one of the reasons why. So I kept that around. Below that is the bash plate from the Pajero Sport after I fell off a dune and dented the whole front of it in. And then below that is my first attempt MIG welding, which didn't go wrong at all. It actually went really well. So that's a good thing to have up there. But next to it, we have the C-clamp. This C-clamp I used as a press, and it didn't work very well. That was trying to press out the bush and the lower control arm of the XA Falcon, and it blew up. So that didn't go very well. And we have plenty of room for a whole bunch of other blunders and mistakes. And I'm both really looking forward to filling it out and not really looking forward to filling it out, because obviously filling it out means I've done stuff wrong. But besides from that, I think it looks really good. We're gonna get the outlets out either side of it, so all this space will become usable again. I just think it makes this shed just feels so nice. It's just one of those things where you just look at it and it's like, oh, that's cool. That feels nice. I like this space. It's really good. I'm keen for it. And speaking of that, let's move on to the next space that I want to make prettier, which is this space here. Now, as I mentioned, this is going to be sort of the long-term project area. All the long-term projects are going to stay here and be worked under here. And in order to do that, we need good lighting, which we do. They're just all facing the wrong way at the moment. So we've got some sheets of melamine back there. We're going to plaster them all up on, well, actually not going to plaster them. We're going to screw them in all up here. And the only thing we've got to make sure we do is just not screw into any of the wires and drill the holes all in the right spot for the lights. I think it'll be pretty straightforward. I think it'll be pretty easy. We'll see how it is. This is my setup at the moment to try and raise them up there. I don't have like a drywall. I don't even know what that's called, but like the ceiling thing for the drywall. I've got a ladder and a 20-litre cube. Let's see how we go. Oh, this is awkward. You know what I need is like plants. That would have been so smart. Bugger. Actually, now that's lower. Maybe I'll get a friend. This sucks. I don't know what the plan is. Need a better setup of what the plan is. I am a goddamn wizard. Look what has materialized before our very eyes. We have a ceiling and it is fantastic. I had a free afternoon where I rented a panel lifter and I just whacked all these things up. The panel lifter made it so much easier to do. It's still a bit of a faff, but it was so much easier to do. And check this out, this is the best part. Oh my God. Isn't it beautiful? We can see, this is actually the best lit space in the shed. This might be where I want to work on like motors and stuff like that because it's just, I can see. It's, yeah, amazing. I can absolutely see. Now look, this isn't the best job in the world. It's just for the shed, so I don't really care too much about hiding all the bits of screws and stuff that's sticking around. All the lights, they're mostly lined up. You can't really tell unless you really look at it and look down the line of them. You can see that they're, one's 3 mil this way, one's 3 mil that way kind of deal. But it does its job and it looks fantastic. Now, the next thing we're going to do is to do with this ladder back here. Now this ladder is the main, well it's actually it's the only way to get up there unless we're using the front loader to lift ourselves up. It's the only way to get up to the mezzanine. It's a ladder, it's fine, it does its job. The only real issue I have with it is because it's, well, one, it's bulky this way, and two, because it's a ladder, a portable ladder, it needs to be on this angle, which just takes up more room, and I'm not a huge fan of that. And ideally, I want to store stuff here because we don't need to go up to the mezzanine very often at all. So either we can pull this ladder down and find a home for it somewhere, which, strangely enough, I don't have that much space to store such an awkwardly sized ladder. So we're not going to do that. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a fixed ladder with a really narrow profile that we can stick up here, right up in next to the shelving. This will leave a little space here, hopefully for us to store these little ramps here, and then we can just block it with engine stands and any other bits of tooling we need right here where I'm standing. And then these things are all on wheels. They're easy enough to pull out the way when we need to get up there. So that's the plan. We're going to build a ladder, and I've already cut everything out. So all our bits, we've ground everything down, we've measured everything out. We've got all these runs, there's 13 of them. They're each 350 mil wide, and from memory, I've got them spaced every 300 mil on center. So there's not a 300 mil gap in between of them. They're 300 mil center to center to center. So we're going to practice our welding. We're going to further test our welding and hopefully improve, because there's a lot of welding to do on this. And we're going to start by welding it on this. This is the flattest table I have got. So we're going to tack weld everything on here and then maybe put it on the floor or something like that to seam weld everything so we don't burn our table. That's our next project. So let's just do our finished markings, line all these up, start welding. Plugged in? You are plugged in. How do you like the setup? Quality, isn't it? Absolute quality. Do what we can. Is that your ball? Plan is to tack both ends then maybe one in the middle, then just add the rest. Should be that easy, hey? Should be that easy. Looks like a goddamn ladder. Sick. Welded up, bit of a mixed bag of weld steel. I'm getting better, but I seem to struggle a lot with ones that I don't have the help of gravity with, which I think is odd because I feel like I hear most people say that when you're welding like down, I've heard people say that's harder, but I find that easier. I find welding across when you don't have the help of gravity harder. But anyway, shall we test it? Oh, look at that. Oh, let's go back down. I've only got about like half a centimetre on that top right there. Alright, I just want to cover everything with paint, and then I've got to weld on the bottom bracket so I can dynabolt it to the ground, and I also need to mark it and weld where it's going to bolt to the mezzanine itself. Don't look at that one or the one behind it. That one's the best. That one's the best. That one's a bit iffy. First test. May need to secure the top somehow, but other than that, it's pretty good. Okay, so the ladder's now done. That area actually looks a heap load better with that ladder not there. It's just everything's a bit slimmer. There's a bit more space back there for more storage and everything. So I'm really glad with that. I'm gonna have to add some support at the top of the ladder just because it wobbles around that little bit too much. I'm not gonna do it now because I've got other stuff I wanna tackle and it works for the moment, but we will get to it eventually. I've also added an exhaust fan up there. That exhaust fan should be good enough for this space. We'll just sort of test it and see. Maybe we'll get a car in here that pumps out a lot of fumes and see how it goes. It's just temporarily mounted in there. We'll have to get some more permanent fixtures for it. For now, it's just temporary so we can figure out where the wiring and everything needs to go. I am a bit worried about dust and stuff getting into the shed from it. This shed isn't very well sealed. We've got these massive barn doors that slide open and they don't seal very well, but even still, I want to try and reduce how much dust gets in here, so I might need to give that a bit more attention, potentially add some filters over the top of it, but we'll just monitor it and see. Now, do you know what's fun? I was sitting here thinking, right, I probably should have done this first because like I've been tackling this shed upgrade just like a day here, a day there, something like that, right? Throughout this entire, it's all been winter this entire time. Throughout this entire time, I could have had a heated shed if we'd gotten this done first. I should have done that first. I should have done that first. Well. We'll do it now, and then we're already past halfway through winter, so who knows if we're ever going to use it. But anyway, we'll be ready for next year. This is just a big stainless steel drum. It's quite a thick gauge, actually. We're going to try, and this is going to be quite a test of my not very good welding skills. They're getting better. We're going to try and weld a flue just like that into it. Now, I think probably, given the size of it, we would either have a bigger flue or like a box to help navigate and capture and push the fumes out, or maybe even a fan that's inside the flue. We're just going to try this for now. We'll just keep upping the size of the fire that we put in there until we realise, oh, it's billowing out smoke everywhere, let's not do it any larger than that. So we're going to put this in there, we're going to weld it out. I reckon first we'll cut out a door, a nice big one, so we can put big lumps of wood in there, because that's what I've got. And hopefully everything goes well, and we're not going to just make a container that just spits out heaps and heaps of smoke. We'll wait and see, I suppose. Right, let's cut open a door. I'm not too sure how this is going to work. Just as a test, I'm going to try and tack weld this on, and see how it goes. Now this bit, I have no idea how we're going to cut this out. I think it's going to be a lot of little cuts. If I was to guess. I did it. My next steps are to try and weld this. I suppose ideally I'd have like a shorter section, so then it's not like I have to replace all of this if I ever need to replace it, but you know. It's a shed, it's not that big of a deal. I've just been putting a tack, you know, one side, that side, this side, that side, and keep, you know, moving around opposites, so like how you do up a wheel. I'm going to try and get them all about 1 centimetre apart, or maybe a bit less, and then see if I can seam weld. But this is quite thin, so I don't know how well that's going to go. But I might try it. I'll give it a shot. Worst comes to worst, I blow it out and I have to fill it in with weld and just take more time. The biggest issue I've got is the back. The back, there's probably at most maybe 7 mil of a gap, which is quite large, especially with dealing with thin metal. So I think I might start there because it's the back, and if it turns out ugly, it doesn't matter, and also it's good practice for the front. That's the plan. Ugh. Almost scared to show you. I will, but you know, it doesn't look pretty. Can confirm, well, mostly suspect that it is sealed. Couple things. Stainless maintains its heat a hell of a lot more than mild steel. It's actually significantly more noticeable. On top of that, I seem to really struggle with how thin this material is, and I kept blowing it out. I probably could have figured out ways to adjust the welder, but I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just sort of setting it, trying to set it right, but I couldn't quite do it. And there's a few areas where it almost looks like, oh, he's starting to get a hang of it, but then something would go wrong, like I'd blow it out or I'd bump myself and stuff would go pear-shaped. But I think it will do the job, and that's the main thing. And we got a taste it of welding significantly large portions or significant lengths of sheet metal and stainless, which is a win. Both very interesting. So now we need to build our little flue, our chimney, make it go up. If I can get it to all line up, that would be great. Alright, shall we see how close we are? Oh my god. I don't know what the difference is between a chimney and a flue. Apparently this is a flue. Oh. Sick! Let's get on the roof. Alright. I've tack welded on a little arm, a little hand. Tack welded on a little handle, and we're going to give it a test. I suppose I probably shouldn't do too much firewood, isn't it? Let's just try and get enough to where it goes, and then see if it smokes out the joint. Alright, now we're just going to wait and see where the smoke goes. See if it fills up the shed. So I had just left this, right? I just left it. I chucked a couple extra logs on, shut up the shed, right? Locked everything up. Left and did some work on the John Goss, right? This has been on, including the time that I've been down here. This has probably been going for 4, 5 hours, something around there. Not only did the shed not fill up with smoke, but as I opened the doors, I could feel it was warmer in here than it was outside. I was shocked, and it's not like it's just been preheated by the sun, right? I'm sure that assisted. The sun did come out for an hour or so, but it actually feels noticeably different from being in here. I'm staggered at how well this worked. I did not think I was going to be able to get this to work. I thought this was just going to be a mess. I thought we were just going to have smoke everywhere and we weren't going to be able to live with it. And it'll be like, whenever I have this going, I have to have the exhaust fan going. But now I just come along. Obviously need a better setup for wood storage because, you know, we got it on the ground and everything. But we come along, pop a log in there. When it starts getting too ferocious, right? When it starts getting too bad, we come along and then we don't lose our stick. We come along and we adjust it. So right now we've got it on level 2. I put too few logs in there, right? Put a few too many logs in there. So what I did is I came along, I was still able to grab the handle, I was still able to grab this. Just did that, just dropped it down one, shut the door a bit more. And when I left, I shut it completely. And it just simmered away. It was fantastic. I'm sure, I know the quality, right, of everything I've done here isn't amazing, right? It's mediocre at best, but everything has just made this space feel so much better. It is just, it's little things, hey? And it's just, I really should just spend more time focusing, or just more time in general. I don't have to fixate on anything, just more time working on the things that work for me to do the things that I want to do, because it just makes everything so much nicer. And it's just, everything gets done so much quicker. Like right now, so the Pajero Sport, the main daily driver, the main tow rig, the thing that does everything, right? That needs engine mounts, and I've sort of been putting it off. I'm just gonna do it now. I'm just gonna do it, because it's gonna make my life so much nicer. It's gonna make the car more pleasurable. It's gonna make sure everything lasts for that little bit longer. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna knock it out. And it's just,
This is great. I love it. The chimney even chimneys, or the flue even flues. I can't believe that I came in here and there was no smoke. That just staggers me. There was no smoke.